Hello, welcome to White Birch Tarot and Astrology. I'm here to talk about Venus and Mars. Actually, Mars goes first. Mars is moving into Aquarius on Tuesday the 13th, where he will conjunct Pluto. And then a few days later on Friday the 16th, Venus will move into Aquarius and conjunct Pluto. And of course, in the middle, on the 14th, I don't know how many countries celebrate this, we have Valentine's Day. So I'm going to talk a bit about what these things mean. And we also have another aspect I want to talk about quickly, so I'll try to get all this in. But I'd like to start, actually, this is actually goes with the new moon that we just had in Aquarius when I decided to share one of my poems tonight because I wrote a poem about the new moon. And since we're talking about Aquarius energy and then we have new moon in Aquarius, I thought, anyway, I think this is pertinent to the things that are happening conjuncting Pluto, the two planets. So I'm just going to read this real quick. It is called Mournful Gift. If the new moon is the time of new beginnings, then why is the moon obscured by the sun? Why is it not the time of darkness? The time when your intuition fails and you're wandering lost in the woods, no path, no stars, no purpose. I sit upstairs alone, feeling the cold seep through the walls like water, and the snow on the tree branches and the earth makes everything silent. I am the last person in the world, or so it seems. But then, a mournful gift, an owl hooting over and over in the woods behind me. I imagine myself sitting beside him, drowning in the emptiness, calling for my mate again and again, calling for someone who is listening, someone who speaks the same language. And the reason that came to me, I think, is because I got to thinking about, okay, Mars is our desire, our will, our physical bodies, our sexuality, our anger. And it's moving into Aquarius in a couple days, where it's going to meet up with Pluto, the lord of the underworld. Pluto is the ruler of Scorpio. Mars is the ancient ruler of Scorpio. So these two planets actually kind of get along with each other. They're both very intense, and they both kind of rule willpower. Pluto rules your hidden willpower, what's below the surface. And it also rules intimate relationships. It rules sexuality. That's why it rules Scorpio. So, you know, those are the things that Scorpio often deals with. And Pluto basically is transformation. So anytime anything comes into contact with Pluto, it is forced to undergo some kind of transformation, which of course means letting go of something, right? So you can have the new thing. So I said Mars is going to conjunct on like Tuesday the 13th, and then just a few days later on Friday the 16th, Venus conjuncts Pluto. And they're both at 0 degrees, well, because Pluto's at 0 degrees Aquarius. So I got to thinking, what does Aquarius deal with? Well, Aquarius is progressive thinking. It's an air sign, so it is about thinking. And as someone I was talking with recently, who might or might not be watching this, said that, you know, a lot of times Aquarius gets a bad rap for being non-emotional. That is not true. It's just that Aquarius has the capability of being an observer, of stepping back. They're really good people to go to when you're in a crisis because they can usually distance themselves. It doesn't mean they don't have feelings. Every sign has feelings. Some signs are more emotional than others. Aquarius in general is pretty good at controlling their feelings. It doesn't mean they don't have them. They're extremely tender-hearted. And in fact, sometimes what can appear to be aloofness is simply a protective measure because they are so tender-hearted. They care, believe me. So anyway, with Mars and Venus conjuncting Pluto at 0 degrees of Aquarius, first of all, if you can, look in your chart and see what house this falls in, because that will tell you what area of your life this is going to impact. But for all of us, I think it's going to impact relationships. I think it's just a given. That's my feeling. And since it's in Aquarius, I think we might be forced by Pluto to examine where we're holding an idealized vision in relationships, whether they're past, present, or what we're looking for in the future. And I also think that, just like I said in my poem, I think we're searching for our tribe. We're searching for people who speak the same language we do. It's very important right now that we feel like we want to get together with people who think like we do. And I'm not saying it's not about feeling, because whenever you have Mars and Venus and Pluto, you're going to have feeling. But there's also an element of wanting people who are on our intellectual wavelength. And I just want to quickly say that Venus is also sextiling, which is a positive aspect, Neptune. Neptune is in Pisces, which he rules. He's towards the tail end, so it's getting pretty intense there. And Venus is, like I said, she's, well, actually, she's still in the tail end of Capricorn right now, but she's sextiling Neptune in Pisces. So that means that you can over-romanticize things, because Neptune is extremely romantic energy. And so is Venus, obviously. She's the goddess of love and romance. So it's good, though. I mean, like, this is like where you can get in touch with what you want and what really touches your heart. But there can be a tendency to be kind of over glamorized by things a little bit with the Venus Neptune, because Neptune rules illusion. So I'm just throwing that out there. But I think this is a really powerful time. So I drew some cards, and again, they're not what I would have expected, because with the Aquarius energy, I expected a lot of swords, which are air, and with the Pluto energy, I expected cups, which are water. Okay, so I'm just going to do my best here, see what we got. It looks interesting, but it's not what I thought at all. We start out with some cup energy. So here's a new emotion. Here's us, you know, like I said, Pluto is transforming. So somewhere at an emotional level, with Venus and Mars going in, and in a romantic sense, and again, this could have to do with your feelings of intimacy. Here's a tender start to something. You could be starting a new relationship, or you could be thinking about starting one, or you could just be examining long-held emotions that feel very tender to you. This could be kind of a weepy time. The moon's in Pisces as I'm doing this tonight. And then I drew the Ace of Pentacles. You know what? Does this reading go up and down? Let me look. Kinda. I might read up and down. It's kind of all over the place. Which way should I go? Okay, I'm going to go up and down. So we start out with a tender emotion here. This is looking at some tender emotion that's kind of new. Or maybe you're taking a new look. It's on top of the Six of Swords, which is moving away from something. Am I going the right way? No, I'm going to go back to 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't know which way it goes. This is really an interesting reading. Okay. Sorry, we'll get back to the Six of Swords. The Ace of Pentacles. So we have a page, which is sort of early court energy. It's an important card. The page, queen, or the page, knight, queen, and king are all important cards. So this is a very important emotion, but it is in its beginning stages. Then we get the Ace of Pentacles. Okay, interesting. This is earth energy. So this is the beginning of doing something differently. So it's almost like you get a new feeling, but you gotta walk the walk, not just talk the talk. We're being asked to do this. Here's the weird thing. We get the 1 of Pentacles. We get the 2 of Pentacles, which is kind of a balancing act, and also a second step, like baby steps. And then we get the 3 of Pentacles. So we get 1, 2, 3, which is telling me a message of literally 1, 2, 3. You're starting something new. You're taking beginning steps, and you're going to be building something different on an actual material level. You're going to be working on something that has to do, I think, with relationship energy. And again, Depends on which house in your chart Aquarius falls, 20 degrees of Aquarius. But I think with Venus and Mars, it is your will, yes, but it also has to do with our relationships, especially in Aquarius. It just is a given. But it's telling me 1, 2, 3. So you're gonna go to a very basic level. You're gonna examine at a very basic level, how do I act in relationships? And I'm gonna have to take it slowly. You're building something with Pentacles. You're building something slowly that's coming from this new emotion that you've just identified in yourself. Perhaps it was buried and Pluto's bringing it out. I don't know. But you're going to take baby steps towards something. And then we do get movement. Whoops. We do get movement. We get the 8 of Wands. This is desire. And this is movement. This is information coming in. It could be information coming from your own psyche. It could be clarity with the sun there. But something is moving and changing. And it's bound to with 2 personal planets. Again, we just had the sun and Mercury go over Pluto. Now we got our Venus and Mars going over Pluto. So we are being transformed on a very personal level, all of us. So here's our movement. And which way are we moving? Well, we're moving away from something on a mental level. We're changing the way we look at something. And again, I feel like it's relationship energy, and it has to do with what you desire. And again, we don't have a lot of wands here, although we do have 1. But, oh, I have 2. We have the 8 and 9. Okay. And when we have an overall, I'll get to that later. So we have to let something go. And of course, anytime you're transformed, you got to let go of the old in order to embrace the new. So here's us leaving. Here's us leaving something behind, and it's the way we looked at something. It's our perspective on something. It's changing. It's got to change. And then after we do that, we get the Fool. We get to start something new. This is this is adventure and innocence. It's starting fresh. It's like starting all over from scratch. You've had to just like let go of something, and you're starting from scratch. And we're going to take baby steps as we manifest it, because here's the 2 of Pentacles, which I already showed. We have the 1, 2, 3 of Pentacles. And again, I don't think these cards are necessarily as important as the fact that we got 1, 2, 3. I mean, it is important that they're Pentacles because it tells us we have to actually take action and do something. It's like, don't just sit there and think about it. You are going to think about it, but you got to do something now. And then our last card, except I've got 2 overall energy cards, is the 9 of Wands. So this is our desire, again, with Wands. Perhaps past actions, perhaps even past romances, because wands are fire. It's physical and spiritual. And it's just before you get to the end. So you're tired. He's been through a battle. His head is bandaged. And he's being very defensive because he's tired of it. He's tired of being attacked. I just noticed that every animal here has a little heart on them. Yeah, it's on all of them. Well, that's cool. Is it on all of them? Yeah, but it's not on the, well, anyway, so you're feeling very battle weary at this point. I mean, Pluto's very intense. And again, in Aquarius, it's about relationships with others, but it's also how we view, it's about our perspective. How do you look at things, and how do you play with others? You know, plays well with others. That's the saying we have here. It's about looking at that and feeling a little bit weary. This has been a lot of hard knocks here lately. Pluto is not an easy energy to encounter, and with all these personal planets going over Pluto, there's just no way to avoid change. I mean, you can try, but you're probably not going to feel great if you try to avoid it. So it's better to embrace it because you're going to go through it anyway. And here's what I drew for the overall energy cards. And I think this is really interesting because I got 2 knights. I got the Knight of Pentacles. So here comes our steady, stabilizing. Let's see, who's stabilizing us right now? Well, we have Uranus and Jupiter both in Taurus, an earth sign. So I would say they are stabilizing us. But we get some stabilizing energy. And I always think of the Knight as like movement, or the Knight of Pentacles is the most stable of the Knights. He's generally sitting still. Even when he's on a horse, he's sitting still. So this is telling us to kind of like, you know, cool your jets. Again, take it 1, 2, 3. But the other overall energy card that came out is the Knight of Wands. We get 2 Knights. So one of the Knights is telling us to be slow and steady. And the other one is telling us to go for what we want, which is interesting. And again, we kind of get a mix of that in the reading. We get a lot of 1, 2, 3 earth energy, take it slow. But then we do get some wand energy with the 8 and the 9 and the 6 of Swords, which is moving away. So overall, let me draw, actually I already drew 3 fairy cards, but I didn't. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh, okay, wow. Okay, this is, I'm going to put them all out together because this is really interesting. They're all women. Interesting. Okay, so we start with the Queen of Shadows. And I might read the keywords from my book, but she's all about the dark feminine, which of course Pluto rules. I mean, my favorite astrologer, Liz Green, says that Pluto should be ruled by, Scorpio should be ruled by a feminine energy, not a masculine energy. So that's her take on it. I agree, actually. I'm just going to look up the keywords here for the Queen of Shadows. I think I know what it is, but it's kind of self-explanatory, I think. Introspection, acknowledgement, and balance. She asks you to stop and be still and take a long look at who you are, the shadow side of yourself, as well as the side that stands revealed in the sun. Who are you? What aspects of yourself hide in the shadows? What would you prefer to keep hidden from the world at large? Take a look. I'm going to read this last sentence. You may find parts of your nature that were placed in shadow years ago and now need to be brought into the light. Yes, that's Pluto coming up from the underworld. Take a look at the parts of yourself that have been neglected for a long time. Dust them off and give them a little polish. They can always be returned to the shadows, but bring them out and acknowledge them first. Yes, that's Pluto. Always brings things up from the underworld. Always. And that forces us to transform. And then I get the Green Woman. So here comes some life-affirming, tender new shoots poking out from the ground, which is, you know, comes after the Fool, the innocent new adventure that we're going to take. She is subtlety, beauty, and fruition. The Green Woman is the subtle greening of the world, the gentle flow of energy, creativity, inner strength, the nurturing qualities of plant life. She cradles us in her strong arms and soothes us with the healing energy of all that is beautiful rather than awesome in nature. If you draw her in a reading, let her powerful, gentle energy surround and nurture you. A relationship calls for gentle greening sometimes. Ah, yes. Okay. Here's the tender energy, the tender emotional energy that we are being called to give and receive at this time. Okay, so this is gentle, the gentle earth energy, being tender, something new, like a new shoot poking out of the earth. Don't trample it, treat it very gently. And then we get the Lady of the Forest. So here's more earth feminine energy. How interesting. You know, that's Taurian energy, that's Taurus energy. And I said Uranus and Jupiter are both in Taurus. Taurus is ruled by Venus. And Venus is one of these planets I'm talking about that's heading for Pluto on the 16th. Okay, her keywords are the eternal feminine, dreaming and feeling. Remember when I said Venus is going to sextile Neptune in Pisces? Oh yeah, that's dreaming. That's like romantic dreaming. It's also creativity dreaming, but it's dreaming about anything that you love. She's the eternal feminine, the other half of everything. Let's see. If you are graced by the presence of the lady, you are being asked to look deeply at the feminine within yourself and the feminine aspects of any relationship you are in. What does the relationship feel like? This can be a relationship with a person, place, or idea, whatever is manifesting itself in your life at this time. Connect with the emotion of what is occurring. Go back to the source of the relationship, the dream that began it, and think about what is happening right now. Okay, that's what I was talking about with that Aquarius energy. It's about looking at what ideals do you hold in relationships, and how do those ideals need to be transformed to fit in with what you truly feel, what you truly desire with the Knight of Wands, and what you can practically achieve with the Ace, 2, and 3 of Pentacles. And the 3 of Pentacles, just as a reminder, again, I think it's just telling me that it's 1, 2, 3, but it can also be collaborating with someone. So that might be for somebody here, I don't know. Okay, I hope that made sense. I think we're going to have some very interesting days coming up, and they might feel very challenging, but we've got some really nice protective. I know the Queen of Shadows can be difficult because you are dealing with your shadow energy, but that's okay. Bring it up and look at it. Treat it tenderly. Show it compassion. You can, as the card said, you can put it back in the shadows if you need to, but first you need to acknowledge it. And then we get some more, like dreaming energy. That's good, that's positive. She's got, I love the way the leaves are sprouting out of her back like wings. She's dreaming good things for us. So good luck to everyone, and if I don't talk to you before then, happy Valentine's Day if you celebrate that. I always feel the way about that day like I do about New Year's Day. I feel like there's too much expectation on it, and it kind of depresses me. So, but I'll get out my old Valentines I got from my husband and have a good cry. So there you go. Okay, I hope this made sense. Please leave me a comment. Let me know how this is affecting you. And if you need any help on astro.com figuring out which house your Aquarius energy is in, I will help you. And it's, I'm not affiliated with them. I will help you though, and it's you need your birth date and your birth time and your birthplace though, or I can't tell you what house it's in. Okay, all right. Good night, everyone. Blessings. Thank you.